hand, get in your hand, get in your hand. And as soon as they stop doing that, and they stop almost begging for the food, then you reward them after. So he does, yeah. Once he stops doing this, because you only reward the behaviour you want to see. Because you can do as well if he understands that.
It's funny because they just try to figure out the best way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, some dogs, 10 seconds, they've figured it out. Other dogs, especially if they've not had this before, he has a lack of boundaries with you. So this for him, he's like, why is mum not just giving me what the hell I want? I'm so used to that. And it's just their little brains figuring out, like I say, some will pick it up quite quickly. Some, it could take them 2 minutes of doing that until they go, and then because you reward them for stopping, then they go, oh, I got a treat when I did that. And then you can keep doing it until they eventually pick it up. Good boy! Now give it him. Yay, get it! Woo! Yay! That's it. And then if you keep doing that, he'll start to eventually learn, well, me going like this doesn't get me what I want, but me sitting back and not begging and being calm, oh, that gets me what I want. And it starts to instill that behaviour in them then. Yeah. Try doing that a few more times. How are you getting on?
Good.
Yeah? The same with so, yes, because there's other things you can use, like, do you know what a clicker is?
Yes, I've got
one. There we go. Yeah, so you could use clickers as well. You know, I've got the treat back now. No more. We're saying another one that you can teach them as well is to put a bit of food in the palm of your hand, keep it as a fist like that. They'll obviously, oh my God, give me the food, give me the food, give me the food. Some dogs will pick it up, quite quickly. Other dogs, you could be sat there for 2 minutes thinking, but they do eventually. And it's the moment that instead of doing this, they go. Then you go, yay! And if you do that enough times, you kind of then instill in that behaviour that instead of me, desperately trying to get the food, if I just sit back and you feed them every time and they get paid for that behaviour, they suddenly stop doing the first one.
Gotcha.
So we're rewarding all the behaviour that we do want and not what we don't want. And it can be frustrating for us as well, because if you're sat there for 2 minutes thinking, why is my dog not getting it? This is so annoying, they're scratching me and all sorts. But if you just persevere, sometimes it's harder for us. We're all human at the end of the day. Even myself with my dog sometimes, it's normal to get frustrated sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you just have to push through and go.
You do.
Dogs have the equivalent brain of a 2-year-old toddler.
Boy.
How much do we expect of toddlers versus dogs?
Exactly.
They don't have the same kind of capacity as us. And I think we forget that, and we put a lot of pressure on them to be the perfect dog. And actually, what the perfect dog is for you versus me versus anyone else is completely different anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which we'll talk about again in a minute. So yeah, we'll have a little... there we go. Yeah. Boom. There we go. See what I mean? They pick it up. Look how clever that was. There we go. So we'll have a little chat for a minute before our next practical, which will be the last one. So I was just saying then as well, we put a hell of a lot of pressure on our dogs sometimes. When scientists have done all their studies, the average dog has the average brain capacity as a 2-year-old toddler. What do we expect of a 2-year-old toddler? What do we expect of a dog? And I think sometimes we put so much pressure on them, but also ourselves, to have what we might call, and that's where you can use leave it as well. Yeah. And we put so much pressure on them. I was just saying as well, a lot of people say to me, oh, should I let my dog sleep on my bed? For me personally, no, because a lot of the people that I'm seeing have dogs with behavioural issues. That's it, use the leave it.
Leave it.
You might need to move them out of the way for now. But the rules that I have for my dog, I've had people say to me before that don't know me, you know, we're just out in a restaurant or a cafe or whatever, and they go, God, your dog's really well behaved. And then I'll have, you must be really strict. I'm consistent, I have boundaries in place. I don't shout at my dog. I never dream of like screaming and shouting at him unless he was about to run in front of a car or something like that, then obviously. But you don't have to be harsh, but sometimes you do have to be cool to be kind. And you do have to put them boundaries in place. And sometimes you need to put harsher boundaries in place when you're initially training whilst you're getting the behaviours that you desire. So for me, for example, when people say, do you let your dog on your bed? Yes, but not when I'm asleep. And do you know what he'll do? He knows that well that he's not allowed on my bed unless invited. If I'm laying in bed, awake or not, if he hears me like stirring in the morning, he'll stand next to the bed and he'll flap his ears. They're massive, so they make a big racket. Flap his ears because he knows it gets my attention. And he'll be standing there looking, desperate. Oh, please let me up for a cuddle. But until I tap my bed and say, come on then, he will not jump on my bed. And that's not, maybe I am strict, but I'm the one with the dog that's laying at the cafe, chilling, and the dog that's not jumping up trying to scramble over tables to get my food because he knows he's just not allowed. But you sit there and chill, might you get a little bit of mum's halloumi after? Maybe. Or will you have some of the treats? Yeah. So it's just about understanding how much pressure we put on ourselves as well as our dogs and what we can expect. And remember, all dogs are slightly different as well. So we're going to start doing some introductions to loose lead walking. So what we would do to teach, so again, this is going into what we expect from our dogs. What do we do when we first get a dog or a puppy? We put their lead on and we take them for a walk outside. You've put a lead on, you haven't taught that dog how to walk. We take them out on a lead. They're pulling us, they're running over here, they're doing this, and we're going, but I don't know why he's doing that. He's pulling me and he's being really naughty. But we haven't actually taught them how we want them to behave. And we're all guilty of that. We've all done it at some point where you're expected a dog to know something that you haven't yet taught them. So what we do is we teach loose lead walking before we go outside. So by that, we do something called luring. Does anyone know what luring is? And it might be difficult if you've got quite a small dog as well. So what we do, we'll pretend I've got my dog here, because he's not here today. So we get our treat, whatever command you want to use for heel. So I use stay here, people use heel, people use whatever word you want next to, try and not make it too long, but whatever command you want for them to stay in the vicinity of you, we're going to be doing that. So I've got some videos on my phone as well, but what I'll do is I'll call my dog over next to me, I'll have the treat in my hand, I'll have it so he can nibble on it a little bit. You can also use squeezy cheese. Be careful, some dogs can be lactose intolerant. But you can get different. Ham is a great idea as well because you can have like a long strip of it and they can be nibbling it while they're next to you. The idea is I'd call him here, Leo, he's come here. I've got a bit of something that you can start to nibble on like that. And I'll say, stay here, stay here, stay here. So you're repeating, not constantly, but you're repeating a few times what your command is, whether it's heel or whatever. Stay here and we'll just do laps of the garden like that. Once that treat's over, we'll repeat it. So we need to try that in here, but be trying it in your gardens or your house to try and get that so they understand before you go on a walk and there's loads of distractions and smells and sounds and there's so much going on. You want to try and teach them before the distractions. Yeah. Because if you suddenly get the dog, like I say, and you put them in a high distraction area and you're trying to teach them something and then getting frustrated because they're pulling you down the street or they're doing this and they're doing that.
I had a big problem with this at home before we go out and scratch the door, wanting to go like and I'm still learning, let's go, okay.
Yeah, so it's that calmness before walks as well. So that's another thing is what we'll do as we go through is kind of, again, it's that getting them to stop and think before they just charge out and do something. So we call it thresholds, which is just you get to the door, you expect calmness before you're going through the door. Once they display the calmness, then you go to open the door, etc.
Cannot open the door.
Yeah. That's why you need to get them to stop first. But that's another level of the impulse control. So things like the leave it, that's teaching impulse control. Getting them to wait before they just dart out a door, that's teaching impulse control. And all that is controlling them immediate impulse is to just get them to stop and think for a second before they engage in that behaviour. That's all that is. So if you've got some treats, pick your desired command that you're going to have. I know it's going to be more difficult because obviously size difference. my dog comes to about here, so it's a bit easier. I'll come around and show you the video of me and my dog doing it as well, just so you can kind of get a visual.